Congress got to grilling oil executives, and there's great commentary from a number of individuals. We're gonna spotlight a lot of that, but I wanna start with Katie Porter, because Katie Porter, you know what she loves? A good grilling. She's a true American. You know what else she loves? Props, and I love that she loves that. Take a look at this video.
We've heard a lot about future plans for investment in renewable energy today. Ms. Watkins, Shell's 2020 annual report called for between $19 and $22 billion in near-term spending. I'm representing that with this container of M&Ms. Each M&M represents about $50 million in spending. Ms. Watkins, how much has Shell said it will spend in the near term on oil, gas, and chemical operations?
I think you just said we're going to be spending between $18 and $20 billion this year.
That's near term. On total spending, how much on oil, gas, and chemical operations?
We're going to be spending.
Well, according to your annual report, you said you're going to spend 16 to 17 billion for oil, gas, and chemical, with another $3 billion for marketing. How much is Shell spending to spend on renewable energy?
This year, we'll be spending between $2 and $3 billion.
2 and 3 billion on renewables and energy solutions. In your testimony, you said, quote, meeting the demand for reliable energy while simultaneously addressing climate change is a huge undertaking and one of the defining challenges of our time.
Yeah, so it's gonna be hard to meet that defining challenge with just a little handful of M&Ms. So I like that as a
John, what kind of M&Ms were those? Because if those were peanut butter M&Ms, then we're in a whole new ball game, because that is more like gram for gram, it's packed with more flavor. If those are pretzel M&Ms, those are more valuable M&Ms. So who knows? If I was playing like poker with M&Ms instead of poker chips, I feel like if they were pretzel M&Ms, those would be worth like 500. So. I don't know.
That would also be a good metaphor if you were grilling an oil executive. Also, there's no way pretzel M&Ms are worth more than peanut butter M&Ms. Let's be clear about that. But I love that as a visual element. I just want a mason jar with a handle full of M&Ms. That just seems like a great idea going into Halloween weekend. They would not last long.
John would Muppet eat those. John would Muppet drink that thing. You know how like they just Cookie Monster just like shoves the cookies and they go everywhere. That's how John would drink the stein of M&Ms.
He's so great. There'd be no money left over for renewable energy, unfortunately. That said, some of you think, okay, I like the grilling, but I'm not really into the sweets. Well, don't worry, she's got another angle. Take a look at this.
Rice were 1 acre. That would be 479 pounds of rice. The American Petroleum Institute even opposed pausing more leasing on our lands. They even sued to stop it because apparently this acreage wasn't enough. Mr. Wirth, you serve on the American Petroleum Institute's executive committee. Do you support a pause on new oil and gas leases on federal land?
Congresswoman, access to resource in this country is essential to ensure the energy security of our country and
reclaiming my time. Mr. Lawler, do you support a pause?
The administration, and it's our hope that the pause ends soon. We think it's important to go forward.
My time. Thank you for your answer. The answer there is no. Mr. Woods, do you support a pause on new federal and gas leases?
No.
Ms. Watkins, do you support a pause on new federal and gas leases?
No, I do not, because I think it's important.
You already have 13.9 million acres. This is equivalent to Maryland and New Jersey combined. How much more do you need? How much more acreage? You have 2 of our 50 states at a price that makes the Louisiana purchase look like a ripoff, and you're not even using it. What more do you need? Iowa, Colorado, Virginia? Our public land belongs to the American people.
That's pretty strong. I love the references to the Louisiana Purchase. That's pretty good. She's like dumping it out as she's doing it. The most surprising part for me, Brett, was actually that there were a couple of the responses that just said no. They were willing to just say blatantly, no, yeah, we love having 2 states. We would, throw in Colorado. That would be perfectly fine. Why would they be opposed to it? So there was actually a little bit of honesty there that I wouldn't have expected.
Yeah, so a couple things when you're looking at the responses from the oil executives. The ones who get mad that they're being asked any questions just really sums up their default setting. Their default setting is two things. One, when the ones who just say no are like, I go before Congress and have very frank conversations all the time. I tell them what I want. I give them the money that through donations, and then I get what I want from them. So I don't see what the problem is. The other thing is they know, I mean, their expertise as lobbyists and as CEOs is the boring and the mundane and the inaccessible. So the C-SPAN type, boring monotone of those kinds of hearings is their specialty, and they just go and they do it and they check the box, and then they, while they're in town, maybe they'll go and drop by somebody that they need influence of. They need to influence. But Katie Porter has kind of mastered with these things that are kind of like your teacher teaching you a really fun lesson that even though you thought it was corny at the time, in this case, maybe with all the grains of rice, you're like, I'm definitely gonna remember it though.
Yeah,
definitely. Down the line. And some of those CEOs just kind of sauntered into that unknowingly. The one that I just want to point out is the guy who said that we really, access to resource. And when they say that, that makes me so sad when they say a noun a way you wouldn't say it, which means that that's like their industry talk, where they have and they've decided to message around it and to communicate around it within the industry. They call land resource or gas resource, not resources, the resource, it's resource. And then the other thing they do is talk about our energy security, which is a carefully crafted messaging tool in order to make you think, no, we're not. And then this is where the rubber meets the road on like the Trump populists. We're not confiscating your land for these purposes. That we are creating energy security for generations to come. Never mind that there's now 5.5 earthquakes in Oklahoma because of all of this. We want that resource, and it's never enough. They're Hexas from Fern Gully.
Yeah, well, to be fair, they said they were providing energy security, not tectonic stability. So I guess they've created a little bit of wiggle room, which goes along well with the fact that the floor is always wiggling now. So anyway, great job there by Katie Porter. The one, if I could just throw a little bit of like, when she does stuff like this, she does a great job, but it is going to lead to copycats from far less clever representatives, especially on the right. And I'm not looking forward to, the rigatoni demonstration by Lauren Boebert or something like that. They're not gonna be good.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.